Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you are watching the Glutton's Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, a cooking show where I make a recipe inspired by some kind of tabletop role-playing game, such as, Dungeons & Dragons, or as in today's episode, Pathfinder. We are actually on the Season 2 finale. I know it's supposed to be, last month, i.e. last year, i.e. during the hell year. But yeah, the holidays happened, and so did everything else. I have a new niece now. I helped my roommate move, and more stuff happening. Like last week and right now, and all sorts of crazy things that we just kind of all want to forget. But let's not. As we have an echo now, my husband just moved it out of the way. Today is season finale to season 2 of Munchies and Minis. We are doing a holiday special, doing recipes from essentially the winter solstice for 3 different festivals from the winter solstice in Golarion, the fantasy world based that is the main campaign setting for the tabletop role-playing game Pathfinder. We're going to be making some stained glass cookies inspired by Shaylin's Crystal Hue. We're going to be making a puff pastry filled with walnuts and almonds based on Sarah and Ray's Candlemark, and we're going to be making a kind of jeweled rice pilaf inspired by Desna's Glitter Hue? It's like right here. Ritual of Stardust. So, let's get started because we got some shit to make. We've got 3 recipes to make, so yeah, let's get started. First recipe we're going to be starting on is based on Crystal Hue. Crystal Hue is a Shaylinite holiday celebrated during the winter solstice, and Shaylin is the Golarion goddess of love, art, and beauty. During this day in towns where the holiday Crystal Hue is celebrated, locals hang crystal prisms and glass baubles throughout town in order to spread light and scatter rainbows in the streets. We're going to be doing the same by making some gingerbread cookies with crushed Jolly Ranchers to make sort of a multicolored stained glass window in the shape of songbirds, or I guess in this case it's the Twitter bird, but hey, it's a great little recall to this past week when the Twitter bird happened to rain destruction of silence upon a certain not so artistic or wonderful loving person, he who shall not be named, at least not until I get drunk enough to bring up his name ever again. So that is the first thing we need to do, and since it takes about an hour for this dough to chill, we're going to get started right now. First, you want to cream the butter in your stand mixer. You'll want a stick, about half cup of unsalted butter. It's a bit soft, and it's been sitting out for about a half an hour or so. So we're just going to throw that in there with a half cup of granulated sugar, as well as a quarter cup of brown sugar, and a tablespoon of molasses. And that's what usually gives pastries like gingerbread that nice, gorgeous kind of brownish hue to it. Once I find my cooking spray, though, there it is, I can go ahead and get our molasses in there. And the reason why I am spraying the inside of this spoon with cooking spray is so I have stuff like molasses and maple syrup and honey and all that, have it come out of the spoon a lot easier. Where's my jar holder? Or I can just give my jar to my other jar opener, the one I married. Thank you, jar opener. Mr. Jar Opener. Alright. And add that. And as you see, because of that cooking spray, it all came out of there pretty darn easily. Alright. And I'm just gonna rinse that off so I can use it again. And one last liquid ingredient to put in that mix. Actually, not one last one. Let's see if I wrote this right. I did that wrong. But that's okay. It'll still work. So we're just gonna let that pulverize while we put together our dry ingredients. So let's switch to our prep cam here. So our dry ingredients, we've got about 2 cups of all-purpose flour here. And to that, I'm going to be adding a couple of different spices that go along with Shaylin's principles of love, art, and beauty. First, for love and creativity in several different folkloric cultures, we're going to be adding a teaspoon of cinnamon. Let's find where my teaspoon measuring spoon ran off to. See how we doing? Alright, let's put that off for a second. Take a spatula to it. And let it continue to do its thing. Okay, so yeah, we'll be adding a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of ginger because it is considered very influential in love rituals. Mostly for its fiery aspects, but it's also considered a little bit of an aphrodisiac. Not entirely sure why, other than the whole warming aspect, but probably it's because ginger roots look a little bit like tentacles. I'll let you think of things from there. So, then we're going to be adding a tablespoon, or equals out to about 3 teaspoons, of caraway seeds, associated with the planet Mercury, which is associated astrologically for the communication center, mostly because, you know, Mercury, i.e. Hermes, is the messenger of the gods. Usually you want to invoke Hermes or Mercury whenever you want to kind of put a little bit more zhuzh to your expression and creative abilities in a ritual. Granted, yes, I know this is Golarion and not ancient Greece and Rome, but considering in magic you usually have a lot of workings done in the belief in a thing, an association, we're going to use this, and it also adds a cool little, I want to say, it just adds a cool little note to the gingerbread part of our cookies. So we've got that, and let's just check on our butter mixture. That looks pretty darn creamed. We already added our molasses, though I should have actually added it after I'd gotten the sugars creamed together, but you know, whatever, it still works. I'm gonna crack an egg into there and add, let's see, another spice. Well, I don't really know. Yeah, it's a spice. We're going to be adding vanilla extract. Now, the interesting thing about vanilla extract as well, I mean, especially from a folkloric standpoint, is that it is associated with an ancient Mexican tribe, the Toltemic tribe, as being associated with love. From this story about this young woman, I think she was a goddess, ended up saving her love and becoming a vanilla orchid. Do not quote me on that. I will, once I actually post this video, I will be putting out a paraphrasing of the actual story. It's just I don't have the book in front of me that has the story in it, so you understand how it is. I can only fit so much on my kitchen counter. So with that, where did my vanilla go? We're going to be adding I'm going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Feel free to add more, like double that if you really like vanilla. But the thing is, with me, vanilla is one of those things that if I have even just like a drop or two in it, of it in something, the whole darn thing just tastes like vanilla to me. And I don't really want that. So we're just gonna beat that into there, let it do its thing, and go back to our dry ingredients. And here is where we get to the point where we have to add the functional stuff. I'm talking about your table salt. We're going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of table salt to our dry mixture. And then we're going to add about 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Cool. Alright, so, hey Chiptune Brony. It's good to see you. Oh, cool. Yeah, just sent the playlist link to me in a whisper. And I tell you, I've been slowly working on the playlists. I just got through... Well, I finished making some pizza tacos based on the game Night in the Woods. They ended up excellent, by the way. Working on the playlist for that, as well as the playlist for my Themysciran potato skins based off of Wonder Woman 1984. But yeah, got the smoked duck recipe based on Shroud the Avatar on the Patreon. Just need to figure out what my 3rd recipe for this month is going to be. I mean, I'm glad that I'm already ahead of the curve. And by doing 3 recipes in this one episode, January's recipes will be fulfilled. So now I've been playing the Shadowrun, or role-playing games. Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall, and Shadowrun Hong Kong. I'm currently on Shadowrun Hong Kong, and I've already found one thing to make up from that game. I want to save for next episode. It's called Lumpia. It's a Filipino pork roll recipe. I've never made any Filipino recipes before, so I'm kind of excited to see how I can put that together. Alright, got our dry mixture here. And now, we are just going to add... We're just going to turn this off for a second and kind of detach some of this butter. But yeah, I mean, each season of Munchies and Minis, I try to branch out a little bit from just Dungeons & Dragons and sometimes Pathfinder. And it's not always easy. I mean, I was very lucky this particular season to have the support of Jason Anarchy Games, where they gave me basically all of their material to make some cocktails based on the game. But yeah, and I might do that again later on, once it actually starts making sense to make cocktails for people again. Otherwise, you're just drinking your butt off. But, we'll see. So yeah, just gonna add a bit at a time. Scrape down the sides a bit. And, oh, and I've also started playing Divinity as of late, because it was on sale on Steam, which seems pretty cool so far. I mean, it helps that I've already been playing the Baldur's Gate 3 early release. Let's see, Chiptune Brony says the playlist of the month is Phantom Space Ramen from Space Daddy. I have not played that game. But yeah, I will admit, some of my game choice was influenced by Epic Games' big holiday free game giveaway. So, yeah, I mean, I played and finished Night in the Woods. They had the Shadowrun games on sale for a bit. Oh, it's an anime. Okay. The Rating TV MA. Yeah, I'll check that out. There's also an anime I want to watch. It's on Crunchyroll Original that just came out. Just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Where it's based on like Central American mythology. Like I can't remember if it's Mayan or Aztec. But it looks excellent and kind of in the sort of Dragon Prince style a little bit. It looks really interesting, and how I'm always looking for another excuse to cook up some authentic style Mexican food. Ah, man. But yeah, anime was also made by the same guy who did Cowboy Bebop. Okay, so I think they were also the same. That was also the same folks that did Samurai Champloo as well, if I remember correctly. But God, I need to watch that show again. I remember there was food. I think it was just mostly rice, though, come to think of it. But speaking of which, we are making a rice dish tonight. And, I mean, I will admit, tonight's rice dish recipe is kind of a... I want to say the techniques are, like, part Turkish, part Armenian, and part Japanese. You'll kind of see how later on when I actually start making it. Just like I said, I have to get this cookie dough made up first because it takes about an hour to chill, and then we have to cut and bake it. So then it's like, oh goodness. I'm going a little crazy making all the things tonight, but you know, it's fine. It's Tuesday. I mean, I'm surprisingly relaxed for tonight. Oh, right, other crazy things. Yeah, my kitchen's basically been a cat pharmacy for the past month. Like you probably know of our our oldest cat, Ginger. She's 21. She's adorable. But she had an eye ulcer. Thing is, we first thought it was that she had caught some kind of cold, respiratory illness from my other cat, Schrodinger. But no, he just had an ear infection. She had a corneal ulcer that perforated. So, yeah, I think had a week full of vet visits, including driving up to University of Georgia's teaching hospital, which is about at least an hour away. Yeah, and here's my baby girl. And her donut. She hates her donut. Yeah, right, my princess. But she's doing a lot better, as you can see. Just hates the donut. Hey, I love you. And she's like, Mom, I don't trust you. Usually you pick me up now to give me meds, and I don't want meds. Not for at least another 2 hours or so. But yeah, my kitchen has basically been a cat pharmacy. Because not only after that, we took our third cat in to, like, you know, we're behind on various things. Turns out he's got hypothyroidism, so he needs pills twice a day now. So, yeah, I've become very close with our family vet. It's kind of nice to actually say we have a family vet now, I will admit. But yeah, let's see here. I would say that's pretty darn mixed. So, oh gosh, let's just detach all of that. I mean, it's a dough now. We don't have to go any further. We just need to get that out of there. Get this over here. Switch my camera. And... hey babe, can you put this back in the pantry? We do not need it anymore tonight. Thank you, my love. Yes, Carter will be helping me through this stream tonight, because if you've ever made any kind of shaped cookies before, you know it takes some time, as well as other pastry type things. So even if it's helping me roll and cut things and move things, I appreciate every little piece of help. But I mean, we're all in good spirits here. So got a big thing of dough here. Just gotta get that out of there. And it tastes excellent, mind you. Okay. So, I just need to scrape the sides. Scrape all of this out. What I'm going to do is kind of shape it into one big circle. Try to get as even in thickness as possible. I'm just going to cut that down the middle. Okay. Roll that into a ball. Like so. Get my plastic wrap out. Take out a sheet of plastic wrap. One that's, well, definitely larger than the dough you're working with. Flatten it out into a disc, like so, and then wrap the whole thing with the remainder of the plastic wrap and refrigerate for about an hour. So I'm just going to do that with the other thing of dough. Eh. Okay. Oh, hey Strike! It's good to see you. I know it's been, well, forever. But, oh crap, did I miss D&D last week? I'm so sorry if I did. It's been, well, you saw gestures and everything. Yeah. I think... Funny enough, I was actually planning on streaming last Wednesday. And then I thought, well, let's do it Friday. And then we went, oh, well, we're having friends over for chili, just social distance gathering on Saturday, so we need to make chili. And, well, you saw how it was, but yeah, as we said earlier, ball of dough. On plastic wrap. Flatten it out. And then wrap it in that plastic wrap. And get it in the refrigerator to chill. Alright, our dough has been made for our cookies. So, it is time to work on our second, that's right, second baked good of the evening. I'm going to regret this later. I am sure of it. But that's okay, because I am back doing the things. Conquering the enemies. And eating the food. And that's all that matters, right? Just the eating the food part, you know? I know that all too well myself. Okay, so to our next recipe that we need to get a start on. It is Sarah Ray's Candlemark pastry. And for a little bit of flavor text, Sarah Ray is the goddess of, well, forgiveness, redemption, mercy. She is very, like I said, she's very forgiving, especially if you're evil and you happen to have turned. She is also a most celebrated in, what's it called? Kalash, which is a very kind of, I want to say almost kind of Turkish Ottoman Empire style empire within Golarion in the Pathfinder universe. She's in Kalash. It's kind of interesting because it's sort of a little bit of a reverse, where it's, you know, the women that are revered over the men and all that. But being a goddess of fire as well as forgiveness, like the cleansing flame of forgiveness, she is usually associated with this basically kind of an ankh shape of a woman with outstretched wings in the sunlight, and, well, fire. Basically her hair, her flaming hair, shining out from behind her. So we're going to be making a puff pastry Sarenrae symbol with a very kind of Turkish walnut and almond filling with it. Like you've seen those Christmas trees that are made of puff pastry? Same concept. We're going to cut, fill, and twist to make it look like a thing. So, since that takes time, let's get started with that. And also, right, I need to tell you the history behind Candlemark. Candlemark is the personal holiday for members of the faith, a remembrance of when and why they joined the church. By tradition, it is held on the winter solstice, representing that even during the sun's weakest day, Sarenrae's power to heal and redeem is still with her faithful. It's usually spent, you know, the other followers of Sarenrae talking about how when they first turned to her ways. So now I can click out of that. What's it called? Thing of things. Tab. I can click out of that tab, and this can go back in the fridge. Thank you, husband. So, what we need to do, especially since now it's thawed, is cut our puff pastry into a Sarenrae shape. So, first, I'm going to use some parchment paper to cover my workspace. And make sure that all of my, I'm going to roll out a single sheet of puff pastry. So usually you can get these packages in about 17.3 ounce packages, about 1.1 pounds. Find them in the freezer section of most grocery stores. So we got one sheet. So I just need to wait for that to thaw more, apparently. We're just going to wait for that to thaw a bit more, so it's a little more pliable. In the meantime, we're going to make the filling. So, this particular pastry I'm referencing is a Turkish pastry called, it's in my notes right here, once I find where the heck they went. There they are. Called Gotab. It's a kind of a walnut almond filling with cardamom. I'm going to be adding a few more things, but we're going to make this work. And I'm actually going to breathe. And breathe again. Right. It's like you go on a flow and then you just go, what? Huh? Okay. So, for our filling, you are going to need a clean bowl, for one. I'm just gonna give that a dusting. I mean, I'm not terribly worried about allergies because it's gonna be, honestly, just me and my husband eating this. And also, it's in puff pastry. It'll be fine. So, dust that out. And measure our ingredients. We are going to be needing, let's see, about a half cup of almonds, which are over here. Just get my 1/4 of a cup measuring cup. That's an 1/8 of a cup. Where are you, 1/4 cup? Ah, here we are. Alright, so, half a cup of roasted almonds. It's about a 1/4. And there's a half. And you're going to need about a 1/4 cup of walnuts. That'll do. Then we are just going to throw this into the food processor over here. Switch over to our stove can so you can see what I'm doing. So, oh, helps to actually cover the darn thing first, obviously. And we're just gonna pulverize the crap out of it. In fact, I'm just gonna let it run. Once it's to about coarse crumbs, we're gonna be adding some spices. We're gonna be adding some cinnamon and cardamom, both of which are in this dish. So let me just grab that. Now, a lot of the cardamom that you find is going to be made, by grinding it whole within its pod. I prefer black cardamom where they've removed the seeds, but feel free to use the green version if you want. It's totally up to you. Okay. You're going to want a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. Where'd my 1/4 teaspoon go? Did I get rid of it already? It's very likely. Well, about half of a teaspoon, so I'm just going to throw that in there. And a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Let's see here. Right, also, since lemons are known for kind of being associated with sparking joy, we're going to be throwing some in there, some lemon zest in there. So, I'm just going to find my zester here, and this will not be the last time we use lemon. In fact, I kind of forgot to put lemon in the cookie dough, but actually I was going to put orange zest in there, but I forgot to buy an orange. But that's okay. All right. So, did I add salt on the recipe too? Let's see, sugar. I want a 1/4 cup of sugar, which I forgot to get. I think I've got some in here though. Yes. So yes, you'll also be adding a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar to this whole mess. There you go. And now, we just need to let it do its thing until it becomes butter. And doesn't look like it's gonna be for a while, but trust me, just let it do its thing, and it will become a glorious, glorious nut butter to be the filling of our pastry. In the meantime, looks like our dough is thawed out a little bit more. That's great. So, I'm just gonna carefully fold this out. Okay. Alright, and babe, can you hand me the rest of my template, please? That's not the rest of it. There's a page I hadn't completely cut out yet. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I have actually made a template for those who want to make this at home. One side with this bit, and the other part with this bit. Hopefully I have enough puff pastry to make this work, as I need to kind of roll it out wide enough to accommodate everything, and I may be completely wrong on this and have to completely remake this template. But that's okay. We'll figure things out. Cooking is also a little bit about improvisation. It looks like our nut butter is definitely getting there. Ah, yes. That is the consistency of nut butter. As I find a clean spatula to work with. I think I've already used all of them. Well, crap. Right. As you can see, it is the consistency of butter, nut butter. Though I kind of want mine a little bit more, slightly more liquidy. That tastes excellent. But personally, I think it needs some acid, so I'm going to throw a little bit of lemon juice in there by squeezing about a quarter of a lemon wedge worth of juice and a pinch of salt. Seed out of there. Seed out. Come on. Thank you, love. Okay. Just a pinch of salt. Where did my kosher salt? Ah, here we are. I would have actually pinched it, but my fingers are wet right now with lemon juice. So, okay. Okay, that is good. Now I'm just going to add just a touch of oil. I guess I have to make that's about a tablespoon's worth. tablespoon and a half should do it. There we go. That is looking lovely. Okay, excellent. We have our filling right there. So, right. Just gonna leave that for a moment. Go back to our Okay, so I made a template. I hope it works. It probably won't. Just have to make sure it's large enough to fit all my pieces from it. It might not. We shall see. See, we have the lower portion here. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, Chip Dude, I don't actually, thing is, because of licensing, the music that I have playing on here is from, Pretzel. So I don't really have a chance to listen to the, playlist yet, but the one I did like the San Komodo one that you, sent me a while back. So let's see here. Can I fit you on here? Please let me fit you on here. Might have to roll this out thinner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll this out even more. I made this template too big. But that's okay. We will make this work. I'm sure that it will stretch out far enough to accommodate. I'm sure it will. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I think I maybe possibly can. We shall see. We shall see. Okay. I think we are getting there. Yes. Haha. Almost. Almost. Haha! Take that! I only have 3 pieces to go. We'll improvise with the scraps in the last bit. It's fine. It's the last piece. Got a little spot here. Right. Oh, wait. Can this work? Can this work? It works! Yay! Yay! Okay. Cool. So, with that, you're gonna need a very sharp knife to cut this out. As in, the sharpest goddamn paring knife you got. So, just gonna cut out and try not to pull. Even if you have to kind of do this whole number of following your finger along the template and doing kind of a Morse code thing with your knife. dotting it like so. Now you're cutting around the main templates here. All right. There you go. And that is the main body. And here's the head and top part of the body. And then we have the face. All right. So how did I did say you how the cat versus dog Meatloaf playlist you made? I don't think you did. You might have, possibly. I don't think I've seen it yet. I didn't see any of my messages from it, but I've also been bad about checking my messages. I do apologize. All right. Let's press that together and be very, very careful when taking this out. Pardon me. Okay. All right. So, that is the body. Now, second part of the body. And babe, can you get me a baking sheet lined with parchment paper for me? So, thing is, since this stuff becomes very, very pliable, you really want to be able to keep the dough cold when it gets to, well, like this. Let's see. Parchment paper is right there. Yes, thank you. So, what I'm doing is I am transferring this body I just cut just bring it over here. To my baking sheet. Like so, and then putting it back in the refrigerator to chill while I cut out the other pieces. Because this is actually a double cut of the same thing, so I need to be able to essentially sandwich it. And to do that, especially if I'm going to twist it, I don't need it too malleable. I need it malleable, but not so much that it's tearing apart on me. So, this one is thawed out enough yet, at the moment. And now, I just need to roll it, once again, large enough to hold my template. So, let's see, what would have been the Meatloaf playlist you came up with? I actually did start on one. I just, since I haven't released the recipe yet, I haven't released the playlist yet. But yeah, I've got, I actually found this really fun artist that has like an entire album, or songs from the point of view of his dog. So I've got a couple of songs on there from that, as well as I think Walking the Dog. God, what else? I don't think I put Dog Days Are Over because I did that for the catfish stew recipe post. I try to add a bit of variety when doing two different more than one playlist from the same, inspired by the same franchise or same work. But yeah, this guy has an entire album of songs written from the point of view of his dog, like kind of at the point of view of his dog. It's really funny and actually very well written. So here we are again with our template. Just gotta cut this and shape it so it works. That's not quite it. Let's roll that just a little bit more. Huh. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the artist off the top of my head. Speaking of good books right now, my friend Henry just had his first novel come out, self-published, but it's called the series is called the Elysian Chronicles of Elysia. His name is his name is Henry Walsh. His first book is called The Sword of Hope, the Chronicles of Elysia series. And yeah, it's a middle grade AIM novel about a young man who finds out that he is an adventurer, descended from the lines of a line of kind of fantasy adventurers that live on Earth. And it's kind of like Percy Jackson meets Dungeons and Dragons, I want to say, where all the characters on a team, with different roles, classes, like their powers are based off of those classes, but they're all like teenagers and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm working on reading it myself, especially since he said that he made food references. He created food items in the book, like mentioned there's like a diner, and I gave him suggestions as like, food that they could be served at the diner, and he used it for the book. So I'm gonna once I actually finish reading that book, I will be posting a recipe up on the blog, and possibly with his permission, a small excerpt for my Patreon subscribers, so they can read a little bit of the book before they decide to buy. But yeah, very proud of him for getting that out. And yeah, let's see what other books I've been reading recently. I will admit I've been reading the Bridgerton series. I'm finding I'm having a little bit of a guilty pleasure for period romance novels, especially if they're Regency era. And also just finished book one of, like coincidence, Percy Jackson, the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. I already ordered the full box set, and hopefully, I already know what I'm going to be making this summer for a smoked brisket recipe, which is honestly better in summer than it is in the wintertime. And just also purchased this book called The Golem and the Genie, which it's kind of a historical fantasy book about, well, if you know of golems, they come from, the whole concept comes from Jewish folklore of servants created by the clergy from clay. And this young woman was created as a goblin, not goblin, golem, to serve as the wife for this man who decides to move to America. He dies on the way, and she finds herself in late Victorian New York City, Victorian era New York City. And apparently, I haven't seen fully from the, what's it called, the book yet, because I'm only in the first chapter, second chapter. It's supposed to include a lot of cultural references to different places in New York, so I'm pretty excited to kind of get through that one too. It's a little heavier of a read, though, I will admit. It's kind of funny, the stuff that I would never pick up when I was in college, I'm just eating up now. Like, there's a book I recently read called The Witch's Kind, which is about, it takes place in the 40s, and it's about this woman and her aunt who find this baby. Well, rather, their dog finds a baby who has gills, and they raise this baby. And it's very kind of slice of life, very memoir almost style of writing, but honestly one of the best written books I've ever read. Though I will admit, if you're more into high action type stuff, this is not the book for you. Alright, so I've got my other pieces here. So with that, let's bring out... Oh, let's see if I can get this last piece kind of cobbled together and cut. This last piece on this template is going to be the ring that goes around the figure's head. Kind of like the halo of light, so to speak, sort of. So, let's see if we can get two of these cut real quick. So, just move that. Piece that together some. Okay, that definitely fits one. Is it perfect? Not really. But we'll see what we can do. Let's see if we can make this work. That might go on the underside. And that's roughly about the other side. If I just kind of add a little bit a straight edge to the other side. Okay. That will do. Well enough. Okay, cool. So, it's time to start working this crap. And it's not really crap, but you know what I mean. I say things this way because I'm tired. We're only in the second recipe. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Hey babe, can you get the baking sheet out? Okay. So, it's that nut butter I was telling you about earlier. Just gonna transfer that to a bowl. Hey, sweetie, can you get me a small bowl, please? No, one of the pottery ones. Thank you. All right. There is our nut butter. Okay. So, now it's time to bring back our baking sheet, though I'm going to put this on a smaller one. Or rather, not so much that. I'm just going to move the whole darn baking piece of pastry, parchment paper over here. Because it's going to be significantly smaller once I'm done with it. So first, we've got, I want to say let's add about half of our nut butter to our Sarin Ray body here. Just gonna use a spoon to Shabeb, if you could get me that. Thanks. I'm just going to use a small little bowl of water, wet my hands, to better spread this onto this body here. So it'll cooperate a little bit better with you. Just want to smooth the whole thing so it covers that nicely. And an even layer. Okay, so there is the main body of that. And now I'm just going to take the other one I cut and lay that so it covers like a sandwich on top. It covers the whole thing like so. See where I'm going with this? Okay, so now we need to do this with our other pieces. And you saw that I cut out that long strip earlier. Well, I'm just going to move those both to here and question my own life choices with them. So now we're just going to add some to our body here. And once again, wet your fingers and use your wet hands to spread out the filling as best you can. As evenly as you can. Onto the body here. Okay, so that's spread out. And just like with the first piece, grab that other piece you cut out, lay it out on top to cover completely, like so. All right, that's piece number 2. Oh, and remember those 2 little dots we got? So I find where the other one went. Ah, here it is. This will be our face. Just gonna cover that up. Okay. And now, for the part which may or may not actually be included on this, we shall see how this goes. Okay, now I'm just going to smooth that out once again with a little bit of water. And then cover it up with this bit of dough here. Also, since I can, I'm going to take that paring knife and just trim off the edges to make a cleaner edge, like So. Okay, so now that we have all of our sandwich pieces together, we can move this whole thing onto a smaller baking sheet, which we're just going to use this one right here. Okay, so for this other bit, I'm just gonna try to move stuff here, because this is where we get to our cutting and shaping part. For this, I'm going to need the filling's on point, I can tell you that. Man, that turned out good. Babe, can you grab me an egg? Okay. Let's see, Toonbirdie, it's good to have you on the stream. Let's see, where's my pastry brush? Ah, here we are. Thank you, darling. Okay, so this is where we get to probably the fun and also, i.e., annoying part. And that is our cutting, shaping, and baking. So, remember that template I showed you earlier? Well, it's seen some better days. Did you see these gray lines right here? That is where we're going to cut our wings. So just have to match it up here. And seriously hope that it didn't flex on me when I was originally doing this. That's okay, we'll be fine. So, just gonna match up these lines right here. And then take my paring knife, my stupidly sharp paring knife, and just kind of cut like that kind of same sort of up and down staccato cut through the lines. Now you should have cut the lines themselves with a pair of scissors earlier, so you're just running the knife itself through the slits in the paper. There's one wing, and there we go. So, with that, we're going to start... Oh, no wonder things got all messed up here. I'm going to start with this first wing here. Probably have to cut a little bit more so it actually goes through. And then we're going to twist it once and then twice towards the top. Like so. So, kind of pull a little bit, and then twist once, pull a little bit, twist once, actually, you probably just twist once on each one. Make sure the slit's gone through. Twist once. pull, and then twist once. And just kind of leave that bit out. See if I can twist. Nope, I cannot twist twice. Okay. Same with the other side. Twist once in the opposite direction. And the other one. Twist once. Yeah. Shucks, they're going the wrong direction. What am I doing? Stay. How did I do this? Top to bottom. Okay. Top to bottom. Kind of fan out the wings a little bit as you go. And top to bottom. Alright. Now that has been arranged, I need to take that egg, beat it with a fork. And remember to preheat my oven, or to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. No. It goes like that. Alright, so, got that. Just gonna brush some beaten egg over the whole darn thing. So that it coats, well, everything. Okay, next, we are just going to see this twist here? We're just gonna twist this. Until get kind of a interesting little wreath here. I'm just gonna cut off some of it because we don't need all of it. Kind of arrange it there as so. Brush that little bit with a bit of beaten egg. Then take that body that we made earlier. I'm just gonna plop that on top while twisting from the top forward for one arm. And the next. And then, I'm just going to twist this neck here. To create our head. Brush that with beaten egg. And hope that this does not bake up to look like an utter, complete mess. I can hope, right? And so that, just gonna add our face. For our Sarin Ray pastry. So, just gonna wait for the oven. I'm gonna throw the oven on convection so it preheats faster. And get rid of some of these scraps here. As well as kind of shape things a little bit. There we go. I wonder. Ah, yeah. I think that'll make it. There we go. Just twist that center. And meet up. Just brush that with some beaten egg. Oh boy. Perfection. I can't remember if her arms are outstretched or up. Let's go with outstretched. I think that might work a little better. Also make it look a little bit less like certain part of the anatomy. Okay. So, babe, I had an idea of how you can help me while we wait for that to bake. So part of today's recipe for our candle hue cookies is that they're stained glass cookies, which they have melted hard candies in the little cutouts on them, so it looks like stained glass. For that, we need to smash up some Jolly Ranchers. So, if you can separate the Jolly... Babe, no! If you can separate the Jolly Ranchers, unwrap them, put them each into a bag, and we'll start smashing them. I admire your enthusiasm, sweetheart, but it's supposed to keep contained. I have no idea. Start with 5 each. So, yeah, while I wait for my oven to preheat. And also clean up my kitchen a little bit, because I'm not going to be needing the packaging and paper scraps here anymore. What? That's a little terrifying. So, just do a little bit of cleanup. And don't toss the parchment paper yet. Well, if you're only making this, yes, but if you're also making the cookies, just use that piece of parchment paper to line your baking sheet, or at least one of them for the cookies. So, Invincible Daydreamer says, what are we making? Well, if you happen to follow the role-playing game Pathfinder, there are 3 recipes associated with the winter solstice. Candle Hue, which celebrates Shaylin, the goddess of love, art, and beauty. So we're making some stained glass gingerbread cookies to honor Shaylin. There's also Sarah and Ray's Candlemark, which we are making a Ankh of Sarah and Ray in puff pastry form, filled with a walnut and almond filling. That's actually finished being formed, and now the oven is preheated, so that is going in the oven for about, I want to say 20 minutes? And there was a piece of puff pastry at the bottom of that sheet. Is now in the bottom of my oven, and now is in the trash. Woo! Okay, and a 3rd recipe, we are making a jeweled rice pilaf inspired by the ritual stardust from the goddess Desna. So yeah, it's the Golarion holiday special that I was going to stream weeks ago, and then, you know, the whole attempted coup happened on the darn country, among a couple of other things that happened in my life, so sorry. Anyway, yes, I just put our Candlemark Sarah and Ray pastry into the oven, and going to bake that 25 to 30 minutes. Let's start at 25. It's supposed to bake until golden, so in the meantime, my husband here is separating Jolly Ranchers to smash it into bits to make the stained glass portion of our Candlemark cookies. In the meantime, oh, right, got some pink here. Red. Oh, that looks okay.
Red cherry.
Okay, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And get a trivet and a mallet to smash up some Jolly Ranchers. So, having internet problems. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope everything works out for you. I need to find my mallet. Mallet! Smashy thing! Smashy thing! Yay, smashy things! And just gotta smash the crap out of that. Now I have holes in it. These things are a lot harder than I anticipated. That's the same color.
That one's pink, the other is red. Cherry and watermelon.
Oh. Well, they look the same. Smashy things. Okay, got our red. Now, the reason in particular we're making these for Shaylin is that her symbol is that of a songbird with a rainbow-colored tail of feathers. We're going to be making more of a Twitter bird with some stained glass hearts once I find where my fondant press went. It's around here somewhere. It'll show up. Ah, yes. With our little heart press to cut out a heart in our Twitter bird, much in commemoration of a certain member of our politics having lost his Twitter account. Much deservedly so. He who shall not be named, but cursed for all the rest of eternity. I was not anticipating. My gosh, these things are hard to smash. Oh gosh. Okay. I think I smashed more holes into the bag than I did into the candy. Yeah, too much shock absorption. Ah! But now it's all loud and stuff. The purple came out really pretty. Okay. We'll start. And green. Okay. So, those are the 3 colors we got. 5 colors. Well, technically there are 4.
Red, pink, blue, purple, green. 5.
Where's the blue? Ah! They're hiding. Green is turning really pretty too. Okay, cool. So, let's roll some cookies. Let's see, what kind of time are we looking? 8:36. Huh. Okay. Let's roll cookies. Alright, so now I'm going to be taking one of the discs of, what do I call it? Cookie dough out of the fridge. Try to figure out where the heck my wax paper went. That's parchment paper. Or did we run out of freezer paper? Well, crap. Okay. Well then. New plan. We're just gonna add another layer of plastic wrap to the top of this. Before rolling it out, so it doesn't stick all over the place. That's the plan, though, and I find a lot of times plans go awry. That's just the way of things. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Let's hope this works. Ow! Okay. What?
Pull up and reset the plastic once in a while.
Okay. So, I'm just going to take a sheet of parchment paper here and try to improvise the best I can. Flipping that over. Yeah. I do not want flour. I can do this. Okay, so let's try to get roughly about that thickness. Like a little while we're in there. And I'm going to cut out some burbs. Burbs. Pretty burbs. Sharp edges on the other side. Okay. So we got my burbs. So, if I'm going to switch it to the stove cam real quick here. Space the burbs. And if you're wondering where to get this particular burb cookie cutter, Audubon Society has a kind of bird cookie cutter collection where you get also a cardinal, an eagle, dove. I just thought this particular shape was the best to fit the heart I'm going to cut into it, which is the fattest bird pretty much. So you see this thing here? It's a fondant cutter. You can find them in all sorts of different shapes. I'm using this one to add a little heart. To my burb. She then used the little plunger here to remove the heart. So, a heart for a fat burb. There we go. And you know, since hearts kind of represent love and beauty in most Western civilizations, even though this is not actually a heart, it's more like a simplified lines of a uterus or a butt. But that's okay. You'll know. The children won't know, but you'll know. And that's what matters. So, hey babe, would you like to play with some colors and make some pretty colors in my burbs?
One color each, or
Multicolor. Go crazy. So, I'm gonna let him do that and show you how to do that. You know how to do that, right?
just take little bits and
Sprinkle them in the cutout. Mm-hmm. And you can do that while I roll out more cookies.
tiny holes in your bag are basically making sprinkles on.
Don't. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but don't. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, it just kind of turns to mud. Have some more burbs.
More burbs.
Yay, burbs! I like saying the word burb.
Cut out their parts.
Try not to overfill.
Damn.
Okay. Okay. The heart plunger thingy is here. Don't overfill them. I know, but please don't overfill them. Burb is a fun word to say. So yeah. Yes. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know, if you have cats, look up Burger King Cat TV on YouTube. It's like just hours of birds at bird feeders, and my cats absolutely love it. Like, I have my youngest comes right. my youngest comes running in from the other room, and climbing on the front. Does it still work?
Well, when I put it back together. But right now it's working.
Then I'll just use it as a cutter. Well, that might cut too. Okay. 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 Right, and since this thing of cookie dough right now is a bit pliable, I'm going to wrap it up and put it back into the fridge and start cutting out the other disc that's been chilling of cookie dough. And part of the reason why I'm doing this all right now and not starting our third dish is that I need enough room to be able to assemble to cook that on the stove. And it's a little easier for me if I'm able to just kind of clear everything here and just work on the stove right there. So this is why we are doing the thing. I told you it was going to be a long episode. I mean, we're making 3 recipes tonight rather than just 1, so do bear with us. And I do appreciate you guys sticking around. Right now... Ooh. That might be overbaked. Well, it's still looking good, kind of. We'll let it keep going. Got about 7 minutes left on the pastry. I'm going to check on it every 2 minutes or so. So... So we're just going to keep rolling, cutting, and decorating until we get to that point. Alright, I'm just going to go back to my instructions. The oven just needs to preheat to 375, okay. Oh, actually, I think once this tray is out of the way, I could probably go ahead and clear up some of the stuff so we can get started on that rice pilaf. So we're not going too long tonight. Yeah, we'll do that. Just clear some of the stuff out of the way. So I'm just Desna's Stardust Pilaf. Desna is the Varisian goddess of dreams, among other things, dreams and mysteries. Varisia is kind of like the, I want to say, kind of the fantasy version of Roma culture. If you've never heard of Roma, you've probably heard of the slur word that has become commonplace in our culture for them, which is unfortunately gypsy, based off the whole idea of them being Egyptian. However, no, the Roma are their own culture of people, Roma or Romani. Paizo kind of illustrates their culture within the Varisian culture. A lot of fortune tellers, travelers, and their goddess Desna is kind of the goddess of starlight and mysteries, and they usually confer with her whenever they're doing their rituals or fortune telling. The ritual Stardust is held in the honor of Desna, held on both the summer and winter solstice. Followers gather at dusk and light enormous bonfires and hold feasts, watching the sparks and embers float out of the darkening sky. After it is fully dark, the celebrants chant and sing songs as they watch the fires burn low. Only when the embers remain, sand is mixed with the ground star gemstones, either star rubies, star sapphires, or rose quartz, and is thrown onto them in the air downwind. And it's common to make proclamations of love and friendship and promised journeys to come. The twinkling of the sand is thought to mirror the night sky and demonstrate Desna's witnessing of these pronunciations. So we're going to be making a kind of a rice pilaf based a little bit on that combination of cultures. And the thing with Roma culture is that it's very diverse, and a lot of culinary stuff is based off of where that particular family happened to be traveling. So if we're looking a lot of Eastern European type stuff, we see a lot of pepper, we see a lot of cumin, and rice is, well, common because it is very easy to transport, as well as it keeps. And we're also going to be mixing a couple of things into it. We're going to be mixing some orange bell pepper, because orange, red, and yellow are considered auspicious colors within Varisian, i.e. Roma, cultures. They're thought to basically attract luck. Where's my knife go? Here we go. There's a little spot there I need to get rid of. It's still fine. Lemon is also thought to bring joy. We're also going to be putting kind of a mix of cranberries as well as raisins and some diced and dried apricots into our pilaf as well. And Hungarian paprika, because once again, used a lot in your Eastern European Eastern European cuisine, including the Roma, as well as being the color red. It's an auspicious color, so we're going to be doing that as well. In the meantime, it is time to take our sarin ray pastry from the oven, where it has been baking in scorching hot fires. And look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It looks like our sarin ray. So I'm just going to let that cool over here for now, as I now lower the heat of our oven to 375 degrees and let it kind of cool to that temp before we put our first batch of cookies in. Just gotta do a little bit of organization and cleanup here if I'm gonna have room. Oof. That was the olive oil bottle. We're gonna have room to put some of the stuff, and also room for my husband to work on things too. But the reason why I bring this up is that I need to actually first make the liquid portion of our pilaf, which is going to be made with lapsang tea, also known as Russian caravan tea. It's tea that's been smoked with cypress. Often, and it also would make sense that you would be having it brought with you on the caravan, especially if your tea stores happen to get a bit damp. When you have to dry it out over the fire, it gets some of that campfire taste. So, I'm first setting my kettle to about 200 degrees. Or, if you have a standard kettle, just, get a cup of water to boil. And drop a tea bag into a measuring cup, which is over here. Let's see. Let's get this out of the way. And get some of this out of the way. Okay. Right. Hey, Ben? Could you line another sheet with parchment paper? It's gonna be cutting some more burbs out. Okay. Yep. Alrighty. I don't actually mind making cookies as much and pastries when it's cold, because heat is your worst enemy when it comes to making any kind of shaped pastry with a butter-based dough. Just things will not shape right. Okay. No, don't! Because you have to move it. Sorry, just stop assuming. Okay. Okay. Alright. Looks like we've got enough dough for probably 3 more cookies. And it looks like our oven may have already cooled down some, so I am going to go ahead and put one of these beautiful rows of cookies into the oven for about 10 minutes. Okay. Alright, so our water is done boiling. So now I'm just going to pour about a little over a cup of water into our measuring cup over this tea bag. Just a bit more than a cup because it is going to soak up a little bit of that water in the tea bag itself. And I'm going to set a timer for about 15 minutes to let that steep. And cover it with a small plate to keep all of those oils, all those volatile oils in the tea to make sure that we keep and retain our flavor. So now just more rolling and cutting. This is also why I don't often do rolled cookies and stuff for this stream, because it just gets repetitive, you know? But since I have my husband to help me this time, it's going to make this go a lot faster, especially if I'm not having to decorate them as well. Okay. Just get these last 2 or 3 cookies cut. And then I'll get onto my rice pilaf. Okay. There we go. Last one.
Special on the leftover parts.
Sure.
I gotta cook hearts first.
Okay. Let me move the puff pastry over here. And grab. Oh, I'm not sure how cool it is. Is it still hot? Okay. Okay. So while he's decorating, I'm gonna wash the rice. So I've got about 2 cups of medium rice here, and to be able to cook it, first I need to wash it. So I'm just going to take a mixing bowl here. Normally I wash it within a pot, but since I'm cooking this whole thing in a skillet, I'm not really going to be doing that this time. So what you do, and I'm just going to kind of see what I'm doing here, run water over it, and then take your hand. That is if you're not clean hand. That is if you are serving someone who has gluten sensitivities. Just kind of work your hand in the rice to wash that excess starch off. And keep doing that over and over until the water runs, for the most part, clear. Okay. Probably have a few more rinses to go. Kind of see what I'm doing right here. Because you see there's still quite a bit of starch in that water right there. I'm trying to basically wash the rice until the majority of the starch is gone. If you've never done this before, trust me, it is worth it. Like, you know how you just have the perfect steamed rice at Japanese restaurants? This is why. They always wash the rice before cooking. It just gives it that perfect texture that doesn't really need all that much salt, and really, it doesn't need any butter. It's pretty darn delicious on its own. Especially if it's medium grain rice. Okay, that is for the most part clear. So I'm just going to set that aside while I prepare my other ingredients. What you need, Ben? Okay. Right, so other ingredients. Now that I am here, where I need to be. Oof, I think some of that cooking spray got on the floor, so be careful. Okay, so if you want to see what this puff pastry looks like, isn't that gorgeous? Looks just like Sarenrae. So, I'm just gonna move that over here into my photo room, so it's also out of the way. Especially since we're going to need some room for the cookies when they come out of the oven, because we need to actually let them cool for about 10 minutes before we remove them from the cooking sheets, just so it has time for the candy for itself to harden. So, yes, I am making room, and we'll be taking back my prep space soon. Gonna make a little heart wreath.
Stained glass cookie.
Okay.
There are 5 colors, 1 in each.
Speaking of which, it's good timing, because we've got a batch of cookies that's ready to remove from the oven. Yeah, and it looks like it did overflow a little bit on some of these. But otherwise, they look quite nice, I think. So let's just switch the stove cam over so you can see how they turned out. And I need to have a timer for about 10 minutes for those to cool, but that's okay because that's exactly how long this next batch needs to bake. So let's just slide that in there, set a timer, and let it do its thing. So I'm just gonna switch this stuff over here while I do some measuring. Hey, babe. Here, I'll just move this back.
Very last of everything, I'm making 2 final pieces. One, which has a different flavored Jolly Rancher in each section, and one just plain.
Okay.
Why? No, actually, I wasn't going to do plain. I was going to sprinkle the Jolly Ranchers on it.
Okay.
And not worry about doing stained glass.
Alright. Alright. Let's see here. Alright, so in the meantime, while we are waiting for that to steep, I actually need to get a bowl together of the dried fruit I'm going to be using in our peel-off. So, you will be needing about, let's see, a half a cup of dried cranberries and a quarter cup of raisins. So let me just grab a measuring cup over here and get that together. So, as I'm doing off camera, I'm getting a quarter cup of dried cranberries, half a cup of dried cranberries, a half a cup of raisins, sorry, a half a cup of dried cranberries, a quarter cup of raisins, and what are you doing? Okay. Let's go for about a quarter cup of dried apricots chopped up. Just gonna move these out of the way. So we're just gonna do a really simple dice on them, just cut them in half, quarter them, or just, grab the whole lot of them and do a rough chop like so. Dried apricots, very much like, this orange bell pepper I'm going to be cutting up soon, are orange and therefore lucky auspicious. Throw that into my bowl. And now that my tea is done steeping, I'm just going to pour it directly into my bowl of fruit and let it soak for about 10 minutes or so. There we are. Just set this to the side somewhere. Okay. Then take that orange bell pepper and cut off the sides, like so, while avoiding the seed pod. Throw out the seed pod. And we're going to have a little fun with this. Since this is the Desna's Stardust peel-off, I'm going to take my vegetable cutter here and cut out a couple stars of our bell pepper. Okay. And take a chopstick to cut that out as necessary. Don't have to do this, mind you. But I think it adds a nice little fun bit. Oh, and also remember to take the sticker off your bell pepper before you cut it. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. Okay. Appreciate it. Will these keep their shape while cooking? Well, we'll see. They actually cut out a little better if I'm going from the smooth side rather than the rough side. And some of these sides are not going to be easy to cut like that, so just kind of want to make them into a flat surface first. But like I said, you don't have to do this. You can just dice it. And that's in fact what I would do if I weren't taking pictures. But you know, if you want to add like a little bit of something visual for your game group, go for it. I mean, it's always fun to add a little visual element. I'll just... dice up the rest of it. But I'm going to try to make a couple of these stars. I'm trying to make it so that a couple of these stars are on top so you can see it in the photos. Otherwise, just do kind of a rough dice so everything cooks about the same amount of time. That is round 2 of cookies. So, huh, weird. It's a little browner than anticipated. Oh. And these should be ready to 10 minutes. Check after 8, though. Okay. Right. But you see I'm kind of doing just a rough dice for the remainder of these. Okay, so since I'm going to be putting all this bell pepper at the same time as the rice, I'm just going to go ahead and shove it into the bowl with my rice. So I save myself a Pret bowl, as well as the spices I'm going to be using. So, for that, I'll be using about a half a teaspoon of not cinnamon, as in that shouldn't be there anymore, I'm not using it. Half a teaspoon of ground cumin, a half teaspoon of ground cardamom, and a half a teaspoon of hot Hungarian paprika. And finally, for our prep, just need to measure out my orzo as well as peel the zest and cut up from a lemon. Okay. I'll cut that up in a second, but I first need to start getting my orzo cooked. So, I can throw away these Jolly Ranchers if we're not using them anymore. By the way, if you want to see how the cookies turned out, don't those look gorgeous? Okay. Don't need this anymore. First, I need to preheat my very large skillet. This is about a 12-inch cast iron skillet here for about 3 minutes on medium on the stovetop here. Wait till that gets nice and hot. In the meantime, I need to measure out my orzo, which will be about a 1/4 cup of orzo pasta, as you can see right here. So, to figure out where the heck I put that, there we are. Everywhere. Right, I'm going to spoon it into that. Because otherwise it gets everywhere. So yeah, you need about a 1/4 cup of orzo. I don't know why I worried about gluten-free, friends. Orzo is not gluten-free, it is pasta. So just keep that in mind, even though this is a rice dish, being a pilaf, it does have the glutens in it. So, alright, let's pick out the prettiest of these cookies to put on my thing. Okay, and you're going to need about 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Just gonna cut that off. Put the rest of it away. Oh, and that lemon, just going to remove the seed, cut it, remove the seeds. Like so. You'll find they'll kind of peel away as you cut the side like this. I'm going to squeeze the lemon halves into the bowl of fruit. And that is for the whole lemon, mind you. Okay, so my that's not the oven, babe. Though that's 30 seconds. Where did I put my pasta? Ah, over here. Just gonna add pasta directly to the pan. Kind of cook that around a bit. Though stupid me, I actually needed to melt the butter first, but that's okay. It goes in there, right? That's why it wasn't doing anything. So, just kind of want to stir cook all of that until it's a bit brown, which will take roughly about, I don't know. Basically, you have to cook it until this stuff starts changing color, which we are obviously not quite at yet. Though it's getting a nice nutty scent to it. I am liking that. So, alright. While I am waiting for that, just gotta finish cutting the seeds out of this lemon and putting the lemon juice in with the tea and fruit. Yep. Oh, that has definitely changed color. So now that has changed color on me. Put them in there, right? I need to add my rice, spices, and bell pepper. What are you doing? What are you doing? Put it on top of that, not on top of the cookies. You don't put a hot pan on top of baked cookies. So, yeah, you just want to stir that. Cook that for about 3 minutes. We're also going to add a pinch or 2 of salt. Kosher salt, mind you. That's the reason why I'm able to do it like that. This is about 2 cups of medium grain rice, just to give you a heads up. So it's going to make quite a bit, which is good, especially if you have a large game group. Okay. About a minute left. Okay. All right. You're down to 20 seconds. So, I'm going to add another 2 cups of water to that bowl of fruit. Actually, no, it's 3 cups of water. Whew. Or rather, first you pour in your tea and fruit, then you add 1, 2, and 3 more cups of water to your pilaf. Give that a stir and bring it to a boil. So we're just going to stir that around a bit. Make sure all of it is incorporated. Just waiting for water to boil at this point. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and cut up this lemon zest here, because that's going to go on the very end when we have the final steam on this rice. So, got all that. Now I'm just going to give it a very fine shred, like so. Move all that to a prep bowl until it's ready to add to my pilaf. In the meantime, while I wait for water to boil, I'd say it's time to do a bit of cleanup, as well as get these cookies where they need to be. So, I'm just going to move this whole lot over here. They should be cool enough, as you can see. I'm just going to move those directly to a tray of other cooled cookies. They're a little burnt, but it's probably because they're cut a little thinner, and that's totally on me. Okay, let me just move stuff off the stove once I find where this went. Right now, I think my favorite batch is this last one that Carter did. I mean, look how perfectly those baked up. Yeah, they turned out great, babe. And that's fine. Not quite at a boil yet. We're more of a simmer at the moment. Just gonna move this slightly so it's a little bit more centered. As well as find my gigantic lid to go on. That's not it. This peel off. What the? Oh, will that go? Yes, it will. That's just good because we're almost at a boil. That's the wrong camera to put on. Okay. No. Almost there. Let's see. Touch the heat up a little higher to get it to a boil. Oh. Okay. And now I just need to reduce the heat to low and set a timer for about 8 minutes and see how we're doing in there, that point. So, oh boy, we're in the home stretch, guys, I promise. Just have to finish that up. Cookies are done. Oh, now I just need to pick out the best looking ones for photos. So, let's just move this over here. I'm seeing some good ones so far from, well, actually all of the batches. So, let's see here. May have had these bake a little too high of a heat of an oven, especially since we had the puff pastry first. Let's see here. Are we? No, we're not quite cool yet enough with the others. Yeah, I can see the rice pilaf is definitely cooking, definitely steaming up. And, yeah. Oh boy. Sorry, I am exhausted. I mean, it's almost 10 here. Oof, I think I burned my finger earlier. I've got a sink full of dirty dishes. And I still have photos to take tonight, but that's okay, because my setup's already set up. I've already added the, what's it called? The, puff pastry sarin ray symbol to the table. Just need to pick out my cookies and finish up the peel off and get that all lumped in to my photo setup. So yeah, it's so far so good, right? Though I am curious to see what one of these tastes like. Well, that's a pretty one. So let's grab... Well, that green one's pretty. I like that one. Let's grab one of these. It's pretty good. Which I think I might do for the photo itself. Kind of feature a flock of birds in different colors kind of rising up. Yeah, I think that looked pretty. I'm okay. Okay. See how that pilaf's doing. Looking good so far. Still cooking. So, see how it looks in another 4 minutes. Whew. Wow. So yeah, I think that I'm going to try to stream again next week with the start of Season 3 of Munchies and Minis. Can you believe this? That we've done this for a full 2 years now. I'm probably going to try making some lumpia from, I'm not sure if that's how to pronounce it. It's like kind of Filipino pork rolls from Shadowrun Hong Kong. Though I'm still, my mind is still pretty open. Been taking screenshots as I've been playing the Shadowrun games. I haven't really seen too much. I mean, there's the there was kind of a soy currywurst that I saw for what's it called? Shadowrun Dragonfall. The only trouble with it is the main character hates it. They say that it tastes terrible, but I'm just going, but yeah, that's the only food that you've actually really described in this game. Well, crap. Other than Turkish coffee, and you know, I can't make a 2-hour episode of Turkish coffee unless I give the entire. No, I mean, the coffee house and Dragonfall is cool enough, but I mean, I don't think that the proprietor, who charges 50 new yen for a cup of Turkish coffee, is probably not gonna bake it into pastries to serve. So, especially since pastries have a tendency to go bad quickly. So yeah, I'll do a little more look into it, but I think I really want to start off with Shadowrun for Season 3. So, so yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully next week. Provided that, you know, the whole nation is not on fire. We'll see what happens. I mean, the heads are tasty. Okay. Sorry about that. Alright, we are at a minute and a half. So, looking pretty so far. However, it is still obviously not done. So, because I have to let it steam. To make sure that. Hoping the orzo is actually cooking in this. But it does, the majority of the liquid does seem to be cooking off, so I guess it's working. So we've got less than a minute left on this. The last step of the process is to let it steam for about 10 minutes, during which we'll do a bit of cleanup. Now that I no longer have to watch a pan. and then we'll just show you the final results, and we'll be done for this evening of Munchies and Minis Season 2 Finale, the Golarion Holiday Special. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I know I'm saying that kind of preemptively. It's definitely been a night. I'm so looking forward to only doing one recipe next time. Just one. In fact, soy currywurst, I might just make that to be simple, so I don't have to do nearly as much work as I did tonight. Alright, so the timer went off. We're about 8 minutes of cook time. Now you're going to take that lemon zest that we chopped up earlier. We're going to use a pot holder on this lid because it's hot. Just gonna sprinkle that lemon zest all over the top here. Cover it again. Wait for the steam to build up for about, I want to say 30 seconds. Just kind of let it build up again. And then I'm going to turn off the heat. And slide the whole thing off the heat and set a timer for 10 minutes. And you know what? I'm not going to make you wait for 10 minutes. I'm not. You guys have been very patient to sit through 3 hours of Munchies and Minis. Congratulations. You watched me stream and cook for 3 hours. I want to thank my husband so much for helping me tonight, even at the times when what am I kidding? I snapped at him, but you know how it is in the kitchen. It's very hot, and he is very hot, and he's been an awesome help tonight. Yeah. Next week, hopefully, trust me, I'm going to stream again before the end of this month, because tonight's tonight's recipes will all be for January's Munchies and Minis recipe cards, which, if you want the recipe cards to learn how to make these recipes tonight, please check out my Patreon. My Patreon, as well as Ko-Fi, is the only place where you can get access to my recipe cards. Ko-Fi, I only post up I only have the ones that I post to the blog that week. Patreon has access to the entire database of every recipe I have cooked on this show. So if you are interested in getting the recipe cards for any of the recipes tonight, please check out my Patreon, or buy me a coffee on Ko-Fi and send me a message as to which recipe card that you would like access to for a $2 donation. Anyway, my name is Catherine Barston Eastis. This has been the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies and Minis, and as this upcoming week comes, I wish many blessings upon you for the crazy insanity that we have been dealing with this past week. So, stay safe, stay sane. Oh my God, stay sane. Stay you. Thank you so much, and have a great night. Good night.